All right, most important question from this episode. F, marry, kill, Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin. Go. Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass, and today we're talking about Dope Thief. We're on episode 7. There is one episode left. This is the penultimate episode. It is called Mussolini. It comes to Apple TV Plus on April 18, 2025. It follows our unlikely heroes, criminals, I don't know what you want to call them, but it follows them as they are now in some big danger. Is this episode worth your time? Is this worth watching? My hot take is yes, I actually really like this episode. I definitely think you should watch it. I thought it was one of the best episodes so far. I thought it had really good writing, it had a lot of really good tension, progressed the story really well, had some really emotional scenes and some pretty brutal scenes. I really love this. I thought this episode was almost perfect. Like I really enjoyed it. So I'm glad that this episode has kind of like lifted my spirits and made me really excited for the finale, which comes out next week. So I definitely think you should check it out. I definitely think you should watch it. And I'm going to tell you a little more about the episode, a few things I liked, a few things I didn't like, and then really quickly go into a recap. So as you can imagine, there will be spoilers in the recap section. If you don't know what happens in this episode, I would turn it off when I get to the recap. Before that, though, I'll keep it vague. I'll keep it spoiler free. I'll let you know when I get to those spoilers. So, Dope Thief episode 7 continues after the events of episode 6, where the unlikely crew had to take Ray to the hospital because of an infection. He was going to die, and so they went to the hospital, but ended up in a shootout that ended up killing Ray's dad. So this kind of follows the events there, sees what happens to all of our friends, and also if they're going to be able to continue to survive now that their circumstances have changed. So, things I liked about this episode. The first, I love the cast. I still love the cast. We get to see, all of our friends. This episode cuts to all the characters that are left, and we get to see all of our favorite characters in some pretty stressful situations. Second thing I loved, kind of related, I love the tension. There are some really tense moments in this, especially towards the end. There was a very, very tense sequence at the end that I really, really loved, and I thought it was perfectly done. The third thing I love the emotion as the stakes are kind of raised in this episode. The emotion gets ratcheted up, and that's what Dope Thief does really well. I thought the emotion was really good. It kind of like helped you connect with the characters and really built up to that tension that we had a little bit later. The fourth thing I love the writing. It's got some really good dialogue here. I mean, Dope Thief has been well written for the most part, but this episode really shines. There's some really great lines. There's some really interesting themes that kind of go weave throughout. There's a really great confrontation in the middle of it. So I just thought the dialogue was fantastic. The fifth thing I love, it's brutal at times. I mean, Dope Thief has had some really great practical effects, some really brutal moments. This one is no exception. There are some very brutal moments here as the characters are kind of fighting for their lives at times. And the last thing I really loved, I liked Manny's character. I thought this redeemed him. There was someone that commented on my last video. I kind of agreed. Manny has become almost like he had become almost like a non-factor, almost like a comic relief. Like his character was kind of a weight on Ray. He would go through these like weird manic things. I guess maybe that's what happens when you're coming down from hard drugs. I'm not sure, but I didn't love his character. I thought he was just kind of a burden and also comic relief. But in this episode, he really kind of shines. He comes into his own. He shows his emotion, he shows his loyalty, and he also shows his toughness. So, all that being said, there really wasn't anything I didn't love about this episode. I thought this episode was great. So, I think you should definitely keep on the Dope Thief train. This episode is fantastic and really makes me excited for next week. So, if you do check it out, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And I'm going to really quickly go into a recap right now. So, if you don't know what happens in this episode, I would turn it off now because there will be spoilers. So, this episode starts with Ray's mom going out shopping. She goes to the store with Shermie, I think is a dog, and some bikers approach her. It is a tense moment. We think that maybe she is going to be harmed, but then we find out it's a sting operation. All these cops come out. They take the bikers into custody. We also see that she's playing the lottery with those numbers that Ray and Manny accumulated from those $2 bills. So it seems like they think that maybe these numbers are connected to the lottery, and so she is playing those numbers. Now, she then goes and talks to Ray, and we find out that his father did actually die. It seemed likely, but we didn't know for certain at the end of episode 6 if he died. He did die, and she also says that she saw his note about the lucky numbers that he wanted to play, and so she's been playing those. She's being monitored, so she has to be very, very sneaky with her conversation, but she's able to do it. So we find out that everyone is kind of in custody. Son's in prison, Manny's in prison, Ray's in prison. So everyone that kind of like participated in this wild chase to save Ray was kind of behind bars. So the cops with Manny and Ray in prison are trying to put the pressure on them, trying to see who will crack, who will break first, and try to cut a deal. Now, Mina comes up with a plan to put a lot of charges on Ray to get him and May to crack, like ratchets up the pressure on Ray to get them to kind of like have a confrontation and see if they can turn one of them. They basically are going to say that Ray was the head of all of this, of the entire operation. They're going to charge him as a drug trafficking organization, which I guess you only need three people to be considered a drug trafficking organization, and really gets the charges to be much higher. And so they're trying to use this to get some cooperation because Mina wants to go after the bigger fish. She wants to go after like the people that are trying to take Ray out. No, because basically, if the cartel is trying to take out Ray, he must know something or he must have some information that's going to harm them. So she wants to know what that is so she can then figure out how to harm the cartel and figure out how to bring the cartel down. So while this pressure is ratcheting up, Manny is kind of cracking because it seems like he's worried that he's not going to be able to make it out of prison. He's talking to his fiancee Sherry, and she tells him to take a deal so he can get out. She says basically that she's pregnant and that she wants him to think about his family, first and foremost. If they offer him a deal, take it so he can get out and like, see his family grow up. There's this really great line where she talks about like, look around, you see all these tough people that haven't cracked. They get to watch their kids grow up through this glass. And so she is really trying to get Manny to do what he needs to get out there and be there for his family. After this conversation, Manny gets taken back to his cell, but it's not his cell. He gets taken back to a different cell, and in there is that biker, the biker that was arrested earlier, and he goes after Manny. And you're like, why would they do this? Why would they arrange this? I guess the cartel is still trying to take out Manny and Ray for what they know, and this is kind of the way to do it. But here, Manny turns the tables. He starts at a big disadvantage. He doesn't have a weapon. He's a little bit surprised, but he turns it around and beats that guy up. I don't think he kills him, but he might have. Like he hits his head against the toilet multiple times. The guy falls on the ground. He might be dead. We don't see him again, although maybe he's in the hospital. But Manny shows his own. Manny kind of like shows that he's tough as well and survives that encounter. Now, meanwhile, Michelle, the lawyer, comes to talk to Ray, and she says that there's a chance that Manny might flip. Manny's lawyer is saying that they might take a deal, and so it seems like she is trying to tell Ray to like do what he needs to do. Ray doesn't want to flip on Manny. They are very loyal to each other, but it seems like the pressure is ratcheting up. Now, later, Ray and Manny ride a bus together, and here Ray tries to tell Manny basically do what you need to do. And I think he's trying to be protective. He's always tried to protect Manny, and so he's trying to like in his own way tell Manny like it's okay, do what you need to do, get out of here. But this upsets Manny, and then they start to have a fight. Ray gets angry, Manny gets angry. And basically, Manny, says that Ray is always trying to protect him, but he doesn't want Ray's protection. He doesn't need Ray to, to guide him. He just wants Ray's respect, which I guess he doesn't feel like he's ever got. He feels like Ray has been looking out for him, but doesn't respect him. I mean, the way he took out that biker, I think Ray should probably respect him. So this is a really great scene. The dialogue is great. I love seeing the interaction here. I thought this was a really, really powerful moment. Now, meanwhile, Mina goes to see Michelle, which is not a good idea. If a lawyer is representing someone, an officer on the investigation should not go to see Michelle. Michelle says basically like, are you looking for a mistrial? But Mina is thinking of a bigger picture. It looks like she's trying to brew a scheme here. It seems like Mina is trying to get the DA to make a deal with Ray because this whole idea to push up the drug trafficking organization charges was to put pressure on Manny and Ray, but also it seems like it's to make Ray seem more valuable, and then they can get the DA to kind of cut a deal with him and use him to see if they can get up in the organization, get some information on their cartel, or use him as bait, see if they can get some information on the higher level organization. So she also says she wants to put an idea out there, and also mentions a miracle. It's vague what that means. I'll go into it a little bit later, but it seems like Mina has a bigger scheme in mind here. Now, after this, we have this really great scene. This is where the tension really ratchets up, where you kind of like have everyone in danger and you don't know who is going to survive. Manny is worried he's not going to survive the night, so he calls Sherry and tells her to get the money from the storage locker. Ray wakes up in the hospital and it's empty. And then the New England guy, the like big fish drug guy that we haven't really heard from recently, he is on the PA of the hospital telling Ray basically that like they can get to anyone, that no one is safe, that his organization can take out anyone, and tonight someone's gonna die. And so he mentions all the people that are in Ray's life and says that no one is safe and someone's gonna die. Now, Son seems like he might have been one of the targets because he gets attacked tonight, but he was ready. He wakes up with a shiv, takes out the two people that were trying to take him out, and Sun shows that he is definitely a badass. Like he easily handles these two people that were trying to take him out. Sherry goes to the storage locker. It's night. You're worried that something's gonna happen to her. She opens it up, and boom, Ray's mom is there. And so it seems like they were both going for the storage locker. It seems like they were both going for the money. It's not like a fight. I think they're happy to see each other. And I think they're definitely happy to split this money. Now we see Manny. Manny is trying to survive the night. He gets a gift from the like Latino gang members in prison. He kind of like ingratiated himself with them. So they give him a gift as he's going to his cell. Ray, meanwhile, is going around. He's worried why the hospital is empty. He doesn't know what's happening. The New England voice is talking to him, and he sees, a body. I think one of the hospital nurses or something like that is on the ground with blood. So he's freaking out. He goes to the elevator, and Michelle Taylor shows up. She goes to him. She says that she got some word from Manny's lawyer, and it turns out that Manny's dead. Looks like he OD'd in prison. This definitely affects Ray. Ray gets very quiet. He says he just wants silence for a little bit. And then as the elevator is going down, he asks like, how deep they're going to go, how far until they hit the bottom. So that's the episode. Earlier, there was a conversation between Mina and one of the other agents where they asked her F, Mary, kill, Mussolini, Hitler, Stalin. Mina had a fantastic answer. But then one thing I liked is they kind of weave that theme into the conversation with Manny and Ray, where Ray's yelling at Manny to like take the deal, marry Sherry, F him. But I guess that only leaves kill for Manny. So that's what it was. It was marry Sherry, F Ray, kill Manny. I guess we'll see, but that is Dope Thief episode 7. Like I said, it's a really good episode. It's a fantastic episode. Definitely check it out. Definitely watch this series if you haven't seen it yet. I am very excited to see where this goes. There are still some questions left though. Like my first question, is Manny actually dead? We did see him turned over. There is, a syringe in his arm. It seems like it's very likely he OD'd, but I'm wondering, is this part of the scheme that Mina was saying? Like, is this part of the way to get Ray to crack to like put that idea out there that she said that Manny's dead? Maybe then he'll want to cut a deal. Maybe then he'll want to like work with the DA. Was this all just like some sort of elaborate scheme to get Ray to crack? It seems like a very elaborate scheme to like clear the hospital and whatnot. But hey, it could be. It could be a way to do it. Also, why did he OD? Maybe he didn't want to rat out Ray. Maybe he felt really bad. Maybe he was worried that if he did have to cooperate, then he would have to turn over the money. And so this way he doesn't have to cooperate. That money can go to Sherry while, she'll have to launder it, but at least the feds won't know about the money. At least he won't be on the hook for that. And so maybe this is how he thinks that Sherry can get the money, give it to the family, give it to his kid, and, start a new life. I'm not sure. This doesn't also seem to be what Manny was asking for. He asked the Latino crew in the prison that he wanted to survive the night. They gave him this syringe. Doesn't seem like he survived the night. Maybe they were working with the cartel too. Maybe there are multiple layers of people working with the cartel, and this was how to get Manny taken out. I don't know. There's a lot of questions regarding Manny's death, if he's dead. If I had to guess, I'd say maybe he's not dead because Mina really seemed to have some kind of like vague hints there about what her plan was. But we'll see. We'll find out next week. Also, did that situation actually happen to Ray? Because that seems crazy that this drug cartel or this big boss could empty out a hospital, take over the PA system, get in there. It just seems over the top. It seems more likely that this was like a police operation that they were able to manage. But even that seems crazy. But hey, that seems more realistic than this super drug trafficker being able to manipulate this hospital and get this thing done. Or is Ray just freaking out as he is like overcome with stress? I'm not sure. I don't know about that. And finally, what do the numbers mean? Ray seems to be convinced that they are lottery numbers because he tells his mom to play those numbers. So it seems like he thinks that there is some sort of lottery. We'll hopefully find out what the numbers mean next week. But that is Dope Thief episode 7. Like I said, it comes to Apple TV Plus on April 18th, 2025. Definitely check it out. Catch up on Dope Thief if you haven't seen it because the finale is dropping next week and I am very excited about it. So if you do check it out, let me know what you think. Let me know what you liked and didn't like. I'd love to hear it. And if you like this review, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.